Okay, I convene the August 5th, 2026 Personnel and Policy Committee meeting to order at 7 p.m. Jackie, please call the roll.
Vanessa Berry.
Here.
Emily Swisbeck.
Here.
Debbie Bryan.
Here.
Laura Paley.
Here.
Tatiana Weinstein.
Here.
Will Savage.
Here.
Agenda item 2 is opportunity for visitors to speak. Public comment is for the general public to address the board. Each person will have up to 5 minutes to provide public comment. Seeing none. Agenda item 3 is to approve the April 22nd, 2026 Personnel and Policy Committee meeting minutes. Can I have a motion and a second?
I motion to approve the April 22nd, 2026 meeting minutes. I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, Jackie, can you call the roll?
Vanessa Berry.
Aye.
Emily Swisbeck.
Aye.
Debbie Bryan.
Aye.
Laura Paley.
Aye.
Okay, agenda item 4 is to discuss LLD policy 205, flags on LLD property. Dr. Weinstein, can you walk us through it?
Yes, and I just want to begin by saying I attended an intergovernmental meeting yesterday morning, and I polled the group of us, and none of the agencies have a flag policy, but they want one. Although I will say the fire district mentioned that they follow the US flag code and that's what they use as their policy, but I'm not sure that any of the agencies has an actual policy, but again, they want to see what we come up with and we'll share the draft with them soon. Same goes for the next agenda item regarding AI policy. I don't believe any of the other agencies outside of School District 202 have it. The 202 district, the school district has an AI policy, but it mostly focuses on student use of AI.
Yeah.
It doesn't talk about like staff use. I did reach out to our attorney for the flag policy, and then for the third policy we're going to talk about is the elected officials and public programs policy, because there's a couple things I needed to make sure of with it, but just wanted you to know that we have some advice, and that advice has been built into those two policies. So, okay, we're going to start with the flag policy, and it would be a new policy for us, so it has a name. It's called Flags on LLD Property because we have 3 lots, and we have 1 flagpole, but it doesn't mean that we couldn't fly a flag elsewhere, not necessarily on a pole, so that's why it's called Flags on LLD Property. It has a introductory paragraph there. In the first sentence, it uses the word sentiments, and that is a legal term. I don't know if anybody's looked at some other flag policies, but that's
I
ubiquitous.
highlighted sentiments because I was like, that
What?
sounds weird.
Yes, it does sound weird,
But
but it's in almost every flag policy out there. And then we start just with a list of guidelines. So number 1 obviously is the most important. It is not intended to serve as a forum for free expression by the public, rather it serves to represent the LLD's official government speech, and our attorney agreed with that as first. Number 2 indicates a footnote regarding the earth flag, so that's at the bottom. Number 3 establishes that we follow all the laws. And number 4, this is in every other policy I've looked at, and I wanted to ask, and we can get into it once we start discussing it, but it's a very plainly says we do not fly or display flags at the request of the public, any organization, or any individual. That's on almost every policy. I didn't know if we wanted to say at the immediate request, or simply at the request, or just leave it as is, but in most cases it's just as it is written here. Number 5 is just for the public to understand about the half-staff issue. Number 6 is that this is in some municipal policies and other library policies regarding half-staff, regarding if a trustee passes away or a staff member passes away. This is just up for discussion if you'd like to include that in the policy. And then number 7 does allow for some flexibility if a board wishes to entertain another type of flag. It would have to be per board vote. And then number 8 is just for clarification purposes, because there may be depictions of flags in other arenas in the library in a display, or just a small version of a flag somewhere else. So, and that is my summary, and we can talk about the particulars.
Yeah, I know Emily and I had looked over some of the other area library flag policies, and this seems to cover everything. Yeah, the only one that I was, but you said the village doesn't have its own flag code.
I mean, according to our meeting yesterday,
Yeah.
so I'm not
And
sure.
I
They would probably follow the US flag code, like the fire district mentioned that, but I'm not sure they have a whole policy. I did speak to the village manager. He doesn't believe they have one and he'd like to see our draft. And the mayor was at our meeting yesterday, the village manager wasn't, and she would like to see it as well.
That was just one thing that I had seen in other ones, was like if the village is flying their flags at half-staff, the library does as well, but if they don't have a specific policy, then
Well,
I think we follow, just.
That's a state law. We receive notices from the governor, you know, and I assume all the agencies are subscribed to that list, so.
I wonder if some of the ones that you saw too were municipal libraries, in which
Oh,
case
that's
whatever the municipality does, since the
The
library is
library.
part of it,
Could
they
be.
would just do it on all of those buildings as
Yeah.
opposed to
Yeah.
us being a district library.
That makes sense.
And we're our own
Could be.
entity, so it could be that. I had a question about in number 6, just the wording. When it says flags may be flown at half staff as directed by the LLD board president when a current member of the staff or trustee dies. So, because when I was reading it, so like when a current member of the staff dies, when trustee, so is the A included in both of the clauses there, or should we put another A in there before trustee, is my question. Because of where the
another
or is, you know what I mean?
Would be when a current
When a
member
current member of the
or a trustee.
staff or a trustee dies.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So I
Just-
honestly had a question about
Yeah.
whether this was like allowed. I tried to look it up and it looked like it was, what I found said it was not allowed, that we needed just to follow directions from the president. And I mean, it was just a Google search. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's not an AI search. I didn't ask Chad,
Well, and
but
one of the ones that
yeah.
one of the policies that I had found, I can't remember, I think it was in a small
Worth.
yes, it was in
Uh-huh.
Worth.
Uh-huh.
They actually have a whole like chart of
Wow.
when they fly at a half staff and for what purposes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
And so it was very detailed.
Okay.
I will double check
Yeah,
and see
I mean,
if
yeah.
it's
If we're allowed to do
Yeah,
it.
federally.
yeah. I mean, I just see the U.S. flag under strict interpretation of the U.S. flag code. Official half-staff orders for the American flag are legally reserved for proclamations made by the U.S. president.
So and I wonder, so this is from ushistory.org.
Mhm.
So I think that's what we need to make sure we're looking at is like
Right.
the flag code and then what it actually says.
Right,
you know,
right,
so to
right. I
check
just,
it.
yeah, I
just
I
to
found
double
that
check it.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
That because I
Because
thought it was
sometimes
always,
like local municipalities will do it.
Right.
you know,
right. Yeah.
for
It's
local
hard to
people
know.
too. So
Yeah.
I think it's helpful then to
Yeah.
Mhm.
look
into that.
at the flag code to make sure. I also appreciate the footnote about the Earth flag. That was one
Me
of the things
too.
that we had talked about before, was that a majority of the board right now were not on the board when we did that to get the flag, the Earth flag through Scarce and DuPage County. So I like that it's there to let everyone know, like, this is why we have that Earth flag flying, is because we did this and it was a board initiative. So I think that's helpful that it's there.
Yeah, because there's not a policy about it, correct? It was just a proclamation.
I had a question, Tatiana. You mentioned Director Weinstein. Excuse me.
That's fine.
You mentioned number 4. LLD does not fly or display flags at the request of the public, any organization, or any individual, and question whether or not that sounds appropriate, even though it's similar in other policies. But then down in point 7, we talk about any flag shall not be displayed unless authorized by the Board of Trustees, and I wonder if we want to make a connection point there, or does someone kind of take
that's why I brought
Yeah.
up today is like, do we want to say does not fly or display flags at the immediate request of the public? Or
Yeah,
the
right.
organization? Like, do you want that in there? Because
Oh,
there is
because
a
then in
flexibility
7,
allowing.
Right, exactly.
right.
Yeah, I agree.
That makes sense.
The word
Yeah,
immediate.
contradictory. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think immediate works, and then maybe like who to contact.
Where would the immediately go?
At the
Immediate
immediate request.
The immediate request. Okay, thank you.
As far as contact, I don't.
That's a good point.
Do we want to encourage that?
Yeah, I
Is
know.
the
Nope.
thing, you know?
I don't know.
I think it does say that it would be, in this policy, it does say it's a board decision, so people know how to reach
How
out
to reach the board.
Yeah.
That's kind of what
I would think they would probably come to you and then you would put it on the agenda and we would talk about it or send an
whatever
email or
they know,
something, yeah.
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 The only other thing I noticed is in point 5, United is that we have a
Oh.
typo.
It says United
United
States.
States.
So
Yep.
United States.
Good catch.
Good eye. Mhm.
One thing too, the number 3, the Illinois Flag Display Act, 5 ILCS
Oh,
465
slash.
slash.
Look at that.
And I wasn't sure if there was.
It doesn't need to have a slash.
Alright,
Got it.
I wasn't sure if there were more numbers in general.
Yeah.
It's just the basic.
Okay.
Does anyone have anything else? Are we good bringing this one to the full board?
And I will
check on number 5.
Yeah, I will
okay.
email the
Mm.
number 6, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Or number 6, yeah.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
email the committee on follow-up on that one.
Thank you.
Okay, agenda item 5 is to discuss LLD policy 350, artificial intelligence, AI. Director Weinstein, can you walk us through this one?
Okay, so this was a big one. We talked about this in department director meetings a few times. I've looked at a couple of libraries. Not a lot of people have a very
Yeah.
succinct AI policy. I looked at other libraries, I looked at ALA, some municipalities, other .orgs out there like science institutions and things like that. Some are super comprehensive and then some are like just little snapshot like sentences, just not great according to me. So I used a lot to put things together here. So there's an introduction that outlines the guidelines. Then I thought starting out with a definition was important. So I looked at, again, a number of things. NASA seemed the most comprehensive and also cited like a US executive order. So, and I read it, I'm like, easy to understand, covers all the bases.
Yeah,
It
people
looked,
can go and find more information about it.
sure. So that was A. Under B, the number one issue, I think, in terms of AI and staff use is privacy and security, and especially following the laws. So that's what's indicated in the intro. And then we get into like what staff may not do. And there's the bullet pointed list. And then if you flip the page, there's also just a little note about not connecting AI tools to systems, databases, or third-party platforms without approval from the director, which would probably not happen, but you never know.
Yeah.
And again, this has got to be a general enough policy that allows for some flexibility, and obviously this will probably be revised again.
Yeah, everything I was reading was saying like, address your AI policy every 6 months.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Then we get into staff obligations and we start talking about low risk work tasks. And low risk work tasks shows up a lot in terms of like the terminology used for simple things like spelling corrections or data analysis, creating graphics and things like that, brainstorming. However, staff may not use AI tools to replace or significantly shoulder work related to their position, and AI will not replace the creative, analytical, professional expertise of staff. I thought those two things were very important. And then we get into the obligations list here. So under patron disclosures, we talk about reference transactions and making sure that we reestablish that any reference transactions, whether you're using AI or not, we are to cite our references as librarians. And then the two A and B talk about relaying answers produced by AI tools such as summaries, could be very error-ridden. And then letter B talks about reviewing information for errors as an allegation of staff regardless. And then if you get into low-risk work tasks, it talks about the routine tasks. You still need to carefully consider the inputs and outputs and what you share. And then B talks about verifying the accuracy regardless. Under number 3, employee decisions. We're not going to use AI to evaluate staff. However, if we're using it for low-risk work tasks, such as like if you needed to like review salaries at other libraries and you're inputting this into like a spreadsheet and you're using it to just like show you a summary, that's allowable, but not any more than that. And then under prohibitive uses, staff may not create deepfakes or any content designed to mislead the public and may not share or submit AI generated work as entirely human created. Then we get into attribution, which gets into that a little bit more. So you don't need to attribute anything if it's a low risk work task. However, if it's used to substantively create works or products such as but not limited to social media, official reports, you need to acknowledge that AI was used. And what do we mean by substantive? That's down there in the footnote. And I took this footnote from the URL is there, but it's the Institute for Operations Research and the Management Sciences. So Institute for Operations Research and the Management Sciences. It's a 501c3.org. There are other places you could go, but this 30% rule it's around the block in terms of like academic journals and other scientific institutions. So I used them because it was clearly written. So that's there. So when attribution is required, you need to properly reference it if it's like written work, and then if you flip the page, if it's an image or a video, it needs to be embedded within the image or the video. And then if we move on to number 6, I just made a note for myself. I don't think it needs to be called AI breaches, just breaches, because it's under there. So if you guys agree, just change that. And then it talks about what to do if a breach is recognized, and there's a bullet list there. And then we get into collection development, which is our library related, specific for the public, so they understand that we, first of all, respect the intellectual property of human created content. And then it talks about that right now we're not actively collecting, and again, this could be modified in the future, but we're not actively collecting wholly AI generated content right now. But then we talk about that AI technology can be in some of our materials. So like if there's an audiobook and the book was written by a human being, however, AI is used to narrate that. That's something that could be added to the collection. I'm not even sure if we have that now, but that might be something that's in our collection. So if they have an AI generated content, I'm going out of order, but we would place a label on it just to let people know. But A is, it talks about evaluation. So if we choose something that's AI generated in wholly or in part, we still use our collection management policy. B talks about if a card holder requests an item and there's significant, and keyword is significant interest, like more than one, we may select an item for the collection, and we would still use the policy for that, and we would also insert that note so people understand. And then C, lastly, AI tools may be used to assist with collection analysis, selection, and weeding, and that would be considered low-risk work tasks as well, and also references the policy. So I don't know if this is too long, too short, but I think, and we also, again, we talked about this in department head. These were the items or subject areas that department directors were most interested in, thought were most important, and pulled things from other places that kind of mirrored our concerns and thoughts on this. That's myself.
Thank you.
There's a lot.
It's a lot to consider, yeah. It is.
Yeah, I like that it puts a focus on not using it to like do your job, you know, like use it as a tool for support rather than using it to take over. There were a couple things, I was looking at the ALA website and a few other libraries that had AI policies, and there were some things I wasn't sure if we wanted to add or not. One that I thought was interesting was training for staff. Having a note about, let's see, staff using AI, or library will provide periodic training to ensure staff understand appropriate AI use, including the responsibilities related to retaining records, all that stuff. And then also about like biases, stereotypes, and inaccuracies, and how that can come up. I don't know if we want to add something about that. I think thinking about just Schaumburg Library has a sustainability section
Mhm.
on like understanding the environmental impacts of AI tools and having staff think about that before they're using them.
Do you wanna talk about what we talked about in
Yeah.
department
So I thought that was a bit redundant. Like we don't write in our collection development policy that our books are delivered by truck that uses gas powered engines.
Yeah.
So like I understand like why it's there is like maybe an educational piece, but it didn't really make sense to me unless we have, and maybe if we have a sustainability policy for the whole library that could be included, but including it in here, I mean, would just open up to like, why don't we talk about us not having like electric power as opposed to natural gas, or like it would, I don't know, that to me it seemed not to like diminish the impact that it has. But if we're going to talk about sustainability, then let's make a sustainability policy.
We
Right.
actually have an environmental
We have one,
policy.
yeah, we have an environmental.
But so exactly,
We
but
can
like,
add
that
to
to
that.
it.
Yeah.
Okay,
That makes
Yeah, we
sense.
have
that's fair.
and even then, that would be to kind of talk about the training portion too. Is we don't actively encourage staff to use AI,
Right.
so training them on tools or including sustainability, something in the environmental policy about sustainability of AI. When we don't use those tools day to day, we don't currently
Right.
train any staff to use those things. I don't know how that like makes sense to have, at least at this point, in our policies.
Right.
And I mean, I think a lot, like I read the Schaumburg one, and it's, like I said, some of them are super comprehensive. Like the Frankfurt Library also has a super comprehensive policy, and I pulled a lot from there for like topics and or subject areas here that make sense for us. But as Will was saying, like for those broader topics like sustainability, staff training, I think we have policies that are all about staff training, or like in the handbook, the employee handbook and the environmental policy. If we want to revisit those and talk about technologies like this, we can. But I don't want to specifically hone in on AI outside of dangers or definitions and things like that, you know.
Yeah, because this probably falls under some of like the technology training within the like employee handbook.
I think when we talked as department heads, I think like my biggest question was, is this intended to be AI big picture policy where we as an organization discuss how we feel about AI big picture, or is this AI when it is used or how it could be used by staff to do our jobs?
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like responsible
Every day.
use.
Yeah.
And a little bit, I mean, obviously it's mostly focused on staff use because there's proprietary information, we don't want to put
Yeah.
in platforms like
Right,
this.
right.
But it's also for the public to understand we're not right now collecting, and
Yep.
I want the public to understand that we're aware of AI and we're being responsible with
the
use.
data that we
Yes.
have.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Yep.
No, I think that's
Following
great.
the laws and
Yeah.
all that.
I do think you're right. In probably 6 months, we'll be looking at it differently because of, databases that may become available or specific AI tools for librarians or something that are gonna come out, and then
Sure.
we're gonna have to look at it again.
Yep.
But I think it's a good starting point, and I appreciate
I was curious
the,
too about like Hoopla. Because
yeah.
like Hoopla has some self-published
Yep.
books on it.
Yeah.
So then how does that work with
There's
it?
a lot of self.
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, right, I think staff are looking at it collection development wise, because we can restrict and we can allow. We always defer to like allowing information out there. But our Hoopla subscription is like a one swoop. It's not like
Yeah.
we're selecting
Right.
little things in Hoopla, but with books or music or things that we're purchasing here, it's an active purchase.
Yeah.
Hoopla is a package.
And it's all in there.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's been discussions with Aspen, that overlay that we got
Yeah.
last year, that I know Laura's been talking with them about, like what can they do for us to help try to identify
Yeah.
any AI materials, and what can we do to like make sure that even though, like Tatiana said, when we have a Hoopla subscription that's in everything, there's stuff that we can limit. Like we don't want X, Y, Z. if that is something that could be limited
If we can limit it, or if we can have them better identify.
or like
Yeah.
exactly, or like
I
marked
would like to see
very
things
explicitly.
Yeah.
That's
You would
true.
think- so they're not vetting it. You would think that they would be vetting it if they're putting it on their.
They
their
want people to
things.
Just
They wanna-
use it.
their
Right,
platform.
exactly.
Yeah,
No matter
yeah,
what,
so
they
they'll
don't-
take anybody's books, just, because I'm thinking those could just be completely AI and, I mean, how is it that,
AI
yeah.
cookbooks.
Yeah, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
videos, there's a lot of AI videos.
Uh-huh.
It's just,
Those are hard, I know, I
Yeah.
don't like those, it's hard to identify
And again,
them, yeah.
this is very new for a lot of institutions, not just
Yes.
libraries.
Right.
Yep.
And coming up with something that is solid but
Mhm.
flexible and
Mhm.
general enough, it's tough right now because it's new.
I have a couple editing.
Go for
Because
it.
of course I do. Under 5, attribution, that first little couple or 2 lines that are there should be tabbed over, just like under number 1. So if you look under, do you see what I'm saying? So number 1, patron
Mhm.
disclosures, the
You're right.
as is right below
Oh,
the
yeah.
P. So at number 5,
Oh, I see,
attribution needs to be tabbed over to be below attribution. Just the justification. Do you see that?
Yes,
The
I see
tabbing?
it, I see
Yep.
it.
So just the tabbing.
Okay. Yes.
Do you not see it, Will? Number 5. A
It's,
C5.
it's very small.
C5.
It's like 2 spaces.
Show me.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, you see how this bumps
But
down.
also
See?
In my brain, 5
Yeah,
was like
yeah.
a whole new thing.
Oh, sorry.
and-
C5.
No, I
C5
got
it's like
okay.
bingo.
I got it. Now I got it.
And then under C5, that paragraph.
Bingo.
should
What's
be
that?
tabbed over.
That's the one I was saying.
Yeah, yeah,
C5.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, C5 at the
I'm drawing my line. I see the
Mhm.
line.
Yes.
just that part needs to be
Now I
tabbed over.
found it.
Okay. So but basically attribution and attribution need to be lined up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That whole thing. Okay.
Mhm.
And then C6 on the next page. I feel like we did this with other policies before and we've revised them. If they had a subject and a verb in them, when we were doing a list like this, we put periods at the end. When there's bullet points. So like in A, there's periods after all of the bullet points, but then in B, there's not because there's not a subject and a verb.
Because I think it was a list. I
But
thought
it
that's
is,
what
but look at A.
But-
AI can be defined
Oh,
as,
You're right.
and then that has a subject and a verb in each of those.
So we
But then
want-
in B, there's no subject and verb, so it's just a list. And then in 6,
want
there's a subject and a
periods.
verb, so I think there should be periods.
Sorry, periods.
And then
Correct.
in 7C, I always spell judgment without the E. But I don't know if is the E in there acceptable or not acceptable?
Where is it?
Oh, you're right. No, there's no
Professional
E.
judgment.
There's no, originally, I don't know if it's acceptable now to have an E in judgment, but
Is it?
Oh,
because there wasn't before. Like I know
That's
that
correct.
argument also doesn't have a
7C.
E.
Correct.
So 7C,
Professional.
way to the right,
Oh.
Professional judgment. Yeah.
No,
So
E in
it's-
judge-
then-
right, that's what I'm
Oh,
wondering if it's an
yeah.
acceptable spelling now,
But I'll just take out.
but officially,
I'll just take out.
okay, thanks.
It's those AI tools in Word that are giving
Yeah.
you, giving you bad
Thank
advice,
you.
right? Right.
That's it for my little edits.
no. Good eye, you have such a good eye for this.
You do.
Yeah, I think those were the
Your second career is
I know, right?
Yeah.
Will's got
Editor.
something though, I can see it on his face.
Second sentence in A, done by human. Is it done by a human or done by humans?
an A for the
By
definition.
So,
human
the sentence
reasoning.
is artificial intelligence refers to computer systems that can perform complex tasks normally done by
Reasoning.
is it human dash reasoning, decision making, creating? Or
Oh.
is it by a human
By a human.
dash
Oh.
reasoning,
I
decision
have
making?
to.
Is it human
NASA.
reasoning?
This is NASA.
It's supposed to be.
needs an
So
editor.
it's human reasoning.
But human reasoning hyphen is not like
Human
that's not
reasoning
a
doesn't need to be
hyphenated.
hyphenated.
Yeah.
Correct.
NASA thinks so.
Human.
So it's a copy and.
I'm gonna tell
So
NASA they're wrong.
I thought that it
Yeah.
was like
Oh.
human because it's human reasoning, human decision making,
Yeah.
human creating.
Yeah.
So it'd be done by a human dash reasoning.
No.
Decision
making,
creating.
Not A. I think it's just get rid
Human
of the
reasoning.
dash.
I think it intends human reasoning. I think you're right.
But
But
So
is it-
it should be
complex
human
text
reasoning,
Oh
human
my gosh, that's
decision making,
really-
human
Oh.
creating.
No, wait,
No,
wait.
Is it supposed to be
No,
done?
because it's what artificial intelligence can do.
yes.
So it's artificial intelligence.
Can be.
Normally done by humans.
Oh,
Human.
can normally done by human.
Reasoning.
Reasoning, decision making, creating.
It should
In that
be
case, it
human
should be
Maybe a
human.
semicolon.
It's not human
Humans.
reasoning.
It is human reasoning.
No, look at artificial intelligence refers to computer systems that can perform complex tasks normally done by human.
Human reasoning.
Well,
Reasoning, decision making, creating,
so
etc.
that's what I.
Human,
That's
that
what,
would be humans.
Human reasoning.
that's what I
right?
think it is too. But I think it is.
But it's
be,
human
It'd
reasoning.
be a human, or it'd be humans.
Mhm, yeah.
I could see
So
it going either way,
okay.
but either way, this is incorrect.
Or-
You're right.
Here's
Human
how.
it's talking about human reasoning, human decision making, human creating.
If they were on the
Exactly,
same
yes.
line,
So
maybe.
how I'm reading it
Okay, I'm gonna look it
is
up.
that way, but then the way the sentence is written, it needs to be done by a human, not done by human,
Right.
or done by
Definition.
humans,
Mhm.
because humans reason
Mhm.
decision making,
Definition of
create.
artificial
Then it would be
intelligence.
like a
All right, hold on.
semicolon.
Okay, okay.
It's like that's
humans
yes.
reasoning.
So I
I
think
don't know.
All right. So looking at and maybe it's just throwing us for a loop because it's human hyphen reasoning on a different line.
I
Yeah.
would just get rid of the hyphen.
Because
If we
looking at it on NASA's website, which I just went to, it does say human hyphen reasoning.
I would just get rid
Normally
of the
done by
hyphen.
human reasoning.
if you get rid of the hyphen, it works too.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
get rid of the hyphen.
You can.
Because tasks normally like completed done by human reasoning, decision making.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah,
is.
correct.
Human
Yes.
reasoning,
So
decision
get rid of
making,
the hyphen.
creating.
But they like the hyphen. But we will get rid of it. Sorry, NASA.
NASA needs a little feedback button.
Bunch of
Oh my
math nerds.
gosh. I really think it's the fact that it's over the line, which throws
That
us for a
adds
loop
to the
too.
confusion.
Visually.
Did you have
Oh,
something else?
NASA.
No, that was it.
I have something related to that. Which is
Okay, all right.
under C1, the second sentence says, if an AI tool is used for an answer, staff shall disclose to patrons if the tool is used in dash part, comma, or in full, comma, for the answer. But if we're saying, I believe that in part should not have a hyphen.
Oh,
It
yeah,
should be
no.
in part or in full.
It should not.
Correct,
Right?
correct.
Okay. I have two other things. Back under B, the Library Records Confidentiality Act. Confidentiality is spelled confidentially.
Oh,
Oh,
Oh
at
my
that.
gosh. Oh, it sure is. Yeah.
My last thing is, when I was reading C under staff obligations, I was caught by the words, staff may not use AI tools to replace or significantly shoulder work related to their position. And I just kind of wrote like a little define with a question mark. I know what it intends, right? But what I noticed is down below, under 5 attribution, we talked about AI is used to substantively create works or products, and then that's defined with a footnote. That to me sounds very similar to what we're describing by significantly shoulder. When I read significantly shoulder, I thought that's a little, I'm thinking technically, but it sounded
Vague.
a little bit vague, right? Like, could we
Yeah.
define that? We might want to take that substantive definition and refer to it up above instead of significantly shoulder. Do you know what I'm saying by that?
I do.
Like, we could say
but
AI
are we
tools.
saying if it's over 30% of what you normally do, is that what we want to use?
I don't know. To me, like the significantly shoulder, I get the meaning behind it. What I appreciated about substantively being defined as 30% or more, that made sense, and that gives you something to. But again, I don't see
that's
this being
just
a
talking
point
about
of
the
contention
attribution,
anywhere.
Yeah.
right? So like,
Right.
And that's what's in all the academic journals. It's like this
Yeah.
ethics
It's
Sure.
a hard thing
Yep.
to
that.
it's a hard thing to quantify because like
Right.
you don't want like a librarian who's doing like research and helping patrons like using AI all the time. But somebody who's doing data analyst stuff, that might be fine, you know? Like I don't know. So
Yeah.
My issue is how, speaking of quantifying, how do we like
how do you
actually, well, this one's 32% done.
yeah.
This one's
Right.
29%. Even if we write that down here, there's no way for us to like have
Really?
direct measurement of like
Fair.
right?
whether this like graphic
Right.
is X% done or this bibliography is X%
Yeah.
done. I mean, I guess like with written word, you could like just literally the number of words percentage wise, but there's so many different jobs that staff do.
Yeah.
Right.
Putting a specific number on something as opposed to being a little more vague,
Sure.
actually, I feel like makes it more complicated in the long run.
And we
Well, and some things it doesn't matter if it's more than 30%, I would think. You know, if you're doing data analysis, I mean, that could be, you know, you could be throwing some things in and, you know, it's going to generate your data. I mean, I guess you're going to do a report using that, then you want to use your own words and your own summary.
Sure.
But if they have taken, you know, the data, I mean, it could be more.
it could be
but
like
it could
45%.
Right, well, and
that's okay.
it could be okay
Yeah.
because of what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think
I mean,
the more
it's-
important part is the shall not replace the creative, analytical, or professional expertise.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and with all policies, depending on what we're talking about, I mean, attribution is a different story, but if you're talking about something like this, it's sometimes nice to have a little flexibility there, because then you leave it to the judgment call of the director or supervisor to say, you know, you're really relying on this tool too much for what you do versus what
Right.
a data analyst would do or something. You okay with leaving that okay?
Yeah,
As it
oh,
is?
yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah, talking about the images and videos though. Images and videos that were substantially created by AI tools should embed the attribution within the image or video. My instinct says it should always be attributed for images and video.
You mean if it's used at all, not just if it's 30% or more?
Why
I
is it
think-
different than
Well,
the
because I
written
feel like
word?
with text, like you're using spell check, you're using like I feel like the image generation is different. Just from a like from a copyright standpoint and from like how it's done. I don't know. It just
Okay.
it feels different to me.
Oh, I pulled this from those academic journals, so like they had them both separated like this, but if we wanna change it, we can.
I think it's such a broad thing though, if you're thinking, I mean, if you're like, maybe we take a picture and there's, you know, something that we don't want in the picture and just have AI remove that, you know, I mean,
That's an
that's,
example.
you know, I mean, that's where I find it to come in handy, even with like senior center stuff, you know, you're like, dang, that's such a great picture. If that poll wasn't right there and hey, can you know, all of a sudden it's like, you know, really nice. And maybe they change Jane's legs a little bit to make it, you know, to fill them in, but you know, it's okay. It's still nice, you know, but I don't know if we need to, you know, when it's something like that. But I would think if you're using a graphic for, you know, your website and it just say, create me a logo, then yeah, definitely you want to
Is
make
there
sure.
something we could add that could, cause I think you're making a great point.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to, you know,
Yeah, and maybe that falls under the substantially,
Mhm.
you know? Because if you are using it as like a Photoshop replacement just to edit stuff, then that's not gonna be 30%.
Right. And I think some of it is just up to the supervisor to kind of keep an eye on, like you said, if you see a staff person who's all of a sudden, you know, cranking things out and you're like, that doesn't
there
seem
is
like
something
it's
in
half
here
done.
about copyright.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So that there is something, 2B. It says staff must always verify the accuracy of the information as well as check for copyright and plagiarism issues, so that's in there.
Why am I not seeing that? Where did you say that was? Oh,
2B.
2B, sorry.
Yeah.
2B. 2.
Under
Under
C,
low risk
I see
work.
low risk work tasks.
Sorry,
Yeah, I know, I was struggling with that, yeah.
So sorry.
Oh my goodness.
C2B.
C2B.
Yes.
I see it. Great, thank you. Are we still talking about that, or are we good with what we were just talking about? Only because of the fact that I didn't want to forget this. When we were back on A and we were talking about the whole thing with human reasoning, decision making, and the hyphen thing. In the bottom bullet point, there's a hyphen between decision and making. But there's not one when decision making is in that paragraph at the top. So I don't know if I don't know what we want to do there.
I don't think it needs
It does not.
Okay.
So get rid of it.
NASA really
I think
likes
it's generally,
hyphens.
Yeah, right.
if it's hyphenated, it's being used to describe something. Decision-making ability, hyphen.
There you go.
If it's
Right.
the act of decision-making,
Decision-making.
then it's,
Right, because there is
Not
human-like up there, and
Right.
yeah, and that seems
But that's
that
human-like
works,
perception.
Right,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Okay.
That's an
Thanks,
example of-
just for uniformity's sake, okay, good.
Under B, images of LLD patrons, trustees, staff, do you want it or staff?
Second bullet point under B.
Under B.
images of LLD patrons,
Staff may
trustees,
not enter the
staff,
following
commas.
LLD related into AI tools, images of LLD patrons, trustees, or staff. And staff?
I would say
Yes.
and staff.
And
too.
staff.
Sure.
Well,
No, I was just laughing because I was gonna say, well, if it's trustees and staff together, then it's fine. If you do or, you know.
yeah.
So
we
say
could
and, yes, and, say and.
Okay, it's and.
do- And, LLD patrons, trustees, and
Fair
staff.
point. Fair point.
Okay.
I have to say, I feel like this is a really reasonable and comprehensive statement
Yes.
for what we are currently experiencing in
Now.
workplaces right now and how people are using it and how like best practices are emerging.
Mhm.
And I appreciate the special attention to sensitive data and the use of that, which I think other members of the public who may be
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
it every day,
Yeah.
but there are some people who really, really worry about where their data is going, and so I think that will go a long way.
Right, that we'd be using their library card information
Correct.
for something,
Yes,
absolutely, I
Especially
think
with a lot
that's
of these
important.
tools, you don't know where it's ending.
you don't know where it's going.
Yeah.
Yep. Well
Yeah, I
done.
thought it was really good. Are you ready to
Yeah.
bring this one to the public?
Great work,
Yeah. All right.
Okay, agenda item 6 is to discuss LLD policy 360, library sponsored public programs. Director Weinstein, would you like to talk about this one?
Yes, so this is an existing policy, it was last updated 4 years ago. Added a new sentence to the introductory introductory paragraph that states, other library sponsored programs may provide opportunities for residents to connect with elected officials and or agencies to receive information. So just a basic statement to talk about that because that's not ever been discussed in this policy before. And then just broke things down from the current policy that you have in your packet to like an ABC situation. So under A, there's general guidelines, that's listed there. Under B, it's staff facilitated programs, just better wording in that paragraph. And then C is the new section under civic programs. And this again, attorney advice. Civic programs that are sponsored by the LLD are designed to educate the public on local, state, and or federal matters. Programs may connect residents with their representatives, address concerns, state questions, and or promote general civic literacy. And when the LLD partners with an official or agency, the LLD will exclusively partner with currently elected officials and or existing agencies for the purposes of constituent outreach and education. And that's the important point to clarify to the public that we're not showing bias.
Yeah.
They are elected, they're here to do the business of the public. And then if you flip the next, I'm looking at the draft. But there's also now a do's and don'ts section. So LLD civic programs aim to, the do's, promote community engagement, educate residents about government structure, legislation, and community systems and organizations. And then 3, provide an opportunity for residents to gain information, resources, and assistance. What they will not do is allow for campaigning, political activity, and we are not going to partner with non-elected officials who are currently running for office, launching a campaign, or who are actively seeking a seat on a board or commission. Just outlining again our policy about how we partner with officials or agencies.
Yeah.
There have been some questions, staff have asked questions because we're doing like more civic series type
Yeah.
programming.
Yep.
And I just wanted to make it clear to the public and just wanted feedback.
So for, I feel like it should say elected officials currently in office instead of currently.
Where is
In
that?
C,
See where?
when LLD partners with an official or agency, the LLD will exclusively partner with elected officials currently in office. And also, what about former elected officials?
Elected officials currently in office.
Isn't that
It says,
redundant?
it says currently elected officials.
You
Take
want the
out-
currently.
Take out the first currently.
Yeah.
Okay.
Elected officials currently in office. And or existing agencies for the purpose. Okay, and then your question.
What about former officials? Does that,
But they're not running, that's fine,
yeah, so
that's fine.
Okay.
I think
So they
that's
could have a
interesting.
program, if they were like a retired
Yeah.
congressman, they could be here
Sure.
for something.
Sure, if they're not currently running.
Right,
I think
right.
It has been posed to this,
So should that be part of the list or?
I think that's assumed. No?
Well, but
No,
what's,
because we're saying
well,
currently in office.
What if, I would be concerned then about like the retired person who's no longer in office is not campaigning, but are they campaigning for someone else? I mean, is that,
Well, we
if
don't
we're
allow
talking about
campaigning at
political
all,
activity,
in
right?
general.
So
I mean, I guess so.
Everybody's-
You could say there might be a speaker who's out, like out on the speaker circuit now, like a retired judge or somebody who would come and do a presentation. You know, so
That would just be a normal.
Program.
right,
Program.
right, yeah, I
Not
guess
a
that's so
civic.
it wouldn't be a
Not a
civic
civics,
program.
like
Not like a
that.
town hall.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
right. So, but
Got
so
it.
then a retired one, what would they be coming for if they would be offering?
Yeah, I feel like that would just fall under regular.
Mhm.
Program.
Right.
Got it.
So
Okay.
Also, elected officials currently in office.
That's
Doesn't it
redundant.
Doesn't
Mhm,
mean the same
I think
thing?
so,
It needs
yeah.
to say elected officials,
I think so.
That's fair.
exclusively partner with elected officials.
Yep.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
currently before that's on.
Okay,
Got it.
just elected officials.
And then in the intro paragraph, I wasn't sure if we needed the last to receive information. Library sponsored programs may provide opportunities for residents to connect with elected officials and or agencies.
We can take it up. Thoughts?
I just felt like it was kind of redundant.
Extra.
I like it. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of what?
I like it.
You like it in there?
No, I
Oh,
like
sorry.
it.
Remove
Gone.
it?
Yeah. Mhm.
Remove it, okay. Removed.
In the very first sentence, there's an S after supports that has the strike through it.
Oh.
In each like copy, the draft, but it's because of the
It
original.
was in the original, I think.
Because-
Yeah.
And so, but the strike through was always in there, it just never got erased.
I just noticed that like
Uh-huh.
10 seconds ago.
My bad eyesight, sorry guys.
So when it was revised in 2022, we missed that.
So, can we go that first paragraph? Why is the last sentence there?
Because we added a new section under C that is not staff related, staff programming. It's about working with elected officials.
Okay.
But I mean, it doesn't need to be there. It's just
Oh.
because think about it. The reason I put it there is because the introductory program talks about basically staff programs and they talk about how they're offered to effectively engage patrons, attract new users, and increase awareness of our resources and services.
Mhm.
It says nothing about just connecting with elected officials, and that's
Okay.
why that sentence is there, because we added a new section.
Yeah, I feel like it makes sense because you've got the section C civic programs.
And it's mostly about the
Sure.
elected official, like
Mhm.
As
being
opposed
that
to
teacher.
library programs
Right.
that are about the library's resources.
Right.
yeah, and engaging patrons
Engaging
and trying
them,
to
getting them
increase
to-
use and
Mhm.
things
Got
like that.
Okay. Now
Got it.
now it makes sense to me.
One little formatting thing under C, the LLD civic programs, does that need to be tabbed over so that the bullet points line up?
Mm.
Well, no,
line
look
up.
at how,
They line up.
let's look at how it is in other ones.
They line up in this graph, but maybe not according to the others. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. Like if you look at like under AI
Under
breaches
B.
or something, yeah, like they kind of
Yeah.
it's
But I guess-
it's just more
But
lined
it's-
up. Yeah.
They're in a lot. It's just
Maybe
It's just a different, it's a
Do you want them moved
it's because
over?
it's like over here where there's like
Yeah.
bullet points versus here there's, and then there's ABC, like it's just,
Yeah.
as long as it's kind of uniform, I feel like.
If we look at the clean copy,
I can
does that help?
guarantee you
Yeah.
that our whole policy manual
I know,
is a little bit different.
we've,
Yeah.
and we have addressed that over
Yes.
time, we've
Yes,
kind of
we
gone
have.
back and through.
Yes, we have.
Speaking of which, so after the bullet points, look, every single one of these has subjects and verbs, or verbs, depending on how it starts. So, so periods at the end of all of the ones with the bullet points.
Which-
For everything?
So with B, and then with C, and then both of them with C also, because aim to, and then otherwise they need to have,
All bullet points?
Yeah.
I mean, all periods.
all periods at the end.
I can do that.
And then in B, in bullet point 1, 2, 3, 4, I do not think there should be a comma after talent.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Are developed by professional staff who provide / procure talent and who screen / evaluate program offerings.
You're taking away
Yes. Yes, I am. Now, if there needed to be an Oxford comma and there wasn't one, I would be putting that in. But this one,
All right,
Nope.
it's gone.
take it away. Take it away.
Anything else? We good bringing this one to the full board?
Yeah.
Okay, agenda item 7 is to discuss LLB policy 906, recording of LLB Board of Trustee meetings. Director Weinstein, you want to talk about this?
Yes, okay, so this was last revised almost 10 years ago. And some things have changed since then.
So I'm sorry, did we create this then right after we started doing recordings or right before we started doing recordings?
I think right after.
Well, it
Right
looks like
after?
it was originally adopted in 03
But
and then
something
revised in
changed.
17.
We revised it in 17.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because that's when we started doing
Yeah.
the
the
recordings,
recordings.
2017.
Yep.
Okay, so things have changed. There's a better wording and it lists the statute in the introduction. I think under A, instead of recordings will be, it should be R. I just made that change right now. And then it should read, recordings are accessible via the LLD website or may be uploaded to another publicly accessible digital. So it should say or may be.
Records are accessible via.
I just saw that today.
Or
May,
be
Be.
uploaded.
2 words, may be uploaded, yes.
Or may space be
Yeah.
uploaded to, okay.
So that's just that. Under executive session, added audio recording because that's an important distinction. So the history here is, and at the end, there's some changes. So the history is the library owned 2 safety deposit boxes. One at the Main Street Lisle Savings Bank and one at the Maple Street Savings Bank. This was way back when. And the thought process was every time there's an executive session, you put that little card and you have to go to the bank and put it in the safety deposit box. That had not occurred for years prior to 2017 and after. We have a safe here at the library and they go into the safe. What is in the safety deposit boxes that we pay $150 for each one every year is, Jackie's got an example.
I'm gonna be Carol Farrell.
Yeah. So, can you bring it over here?
Yeah.
Just show like what's inside.
You may see what's in here.
We closed the safety deposit boxes because for the majority, it has microfilmed reels.
Whoa.
And they're not executive session, they're minutes, which we already have copies of,
Oh.
and digital copies of.
And that's all that's in there.
There was a
Yeah.
couple of cassettes,
There was some executive session which
cassettes,
are now in the safe.
they're in the safe.
Wow.
And
So-
this is what the extra.
And there's
Oh my
more,
gosh.
we just wanted to show you,
So we
there's,
closed
Oh
the
my
safety
gosh.
deposit
Close
box.
them.
Yeah, okay.
unless
Oh my goodness.
we had lost a key, then we found the key,
Oh my
it was just been a mess.
God.
And even prior to me being director, there was like, I think the board president would keep all the executive sessions at their home. And then maybe once every 6 months, deposit them, the cassettes, I won't say this thing, because at that time it was
They're
cassettes.
Yep.
So there was really inconsistencies about what was put in there and what, so like Jackie and I went to both banks, tried to see what was going on in these boxes and just a
Wow.
lot of that, mostly that.
Hmm.
And everything else that we've done is we put them in the safe
Yeah.
at the library. So that is why this changed, unless we want to change it or.
So the minutes that are on there, we have digital
Yes,
copies
so
of them?
We have all the board packets from the 60s, which are in there.
Yeah.
I had gone through and digitized them.
Yeah.
So we have a PDF of them.
Okay,
There are these that we're paying to store.
okay,
Which,
okay,
Right, right.
okay.
we have fireproof file cabinets
Yeah.
and we can keep those in a fireproof file cabinet. It's really, it's more redundancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And we
Yeah, I
don't
don't
need to be
think
spending the
it's
money on safety deposit boxes.
No,
and-
definitely
And
not,
it feels
yeah.
like the amount of times that to have to go to the bank to drop them off.
Yeah.
How many times are they just left on somebody's desk for a few weeks?
Mhm.
And then,
Mhm, right.
Yeah, we can
Not
just
secure.
pop them in the safe, they're
Yeah.
safe,
Yeah,
and
easy,
they're
right.
protected.
Yeah.
So that's why that changed.
That's
And then
interesting.
just under C, we just worded it a little bit better in terms of who can access. Or that's the equipment, it's more about the equipment. And then under B, it's who can access. And in the past, it was always the director and the board president, and it remains the same. It would just be the board president would connect with the director and he would open the safe and go that way. The other good thing about that, and then we've done it anyway, but is that like if there's ever a cause to pull out executive session for like the public access counselor, sometimes they want to see those things, we have it right there. We don't have to like wait for a weekend or whatever, and
Yeah.
we have
Get
it
there.
to supply.
Interesting.
I have one question. Are the regular board meeting recordings kept for a specific length of time? Are we required to keep them?
No, there's no law that we have to record any board meeting or committee meeting.
Okay.
No, we just made a policy that we
Mhm.
record them.
Yeah, I was just curious because the executive sections have the 18 months.
Although
Yeah.
that is a statutory requirement, recording meetings is not even a law.
I didn't have any other corrections on this.
Mm-mm.
Did you guys?
Nope.
Are we good bringing this one to the full board?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, so agenda item 8 is to adjourn. I have a motion and a second.
I move to adjourn.
I will second.
Any discussion? Roll call please.
Vanessa Berry,
Aye.
Emily Fitzpatrick,
Aye.
Debbie Bryan,
Aye.
Laura Bailey.
Aye.
Great. Thanks guys.
Okay, thank you.
We are adjourned now.
We are adjourned at 7:57.
Excellent.